We did it in a staged approach. We had one village that was the pilot to start off with, and we then all met afterwards and we briefed ourselves on what could have been done better. But I can confidently say extremely successful, and it seems to be, again, a really robust system that we have in place. The kit comprises of an insulated bag, and within that bag you've got a 1.8 litre insulated bottle, and then you've got 4 containers, reusable containers of varied sizes, and then you've got a cutlery set as well, a metal cutlery set that comes in its own Ziploc bag, so you can keep that separate from anything else. And then we've also got a reusable coffee mug. The two driving forces for this were obviously the environmental aspect and the sustainability, but then encapsulated in that is obviously the costs as well. And it's been tremendous to see those two come together, because everybody from the business then benefits by, both the savings, but also being more sustainable. Looks like between 4 and 5 months we'll fully replenish the costs of these kits from not having to purchase single-use consumables. We had done some projections, and it's really good, already to see tracking on a month-by-month basis how those consumable costs have reduced to exactly what we had expected. That structure allowed us to have direct access to usage and costs associated with the single-use items previously, knowing how many staff we'd need to roll out and how many we would need to supply for that. It also made the process a lot quicker because there was no commercial aspect that needed to be considered, or any contracts or anything that would need to be changed along that way, which really helped us to get this underway and get it out to our people really quickly. And we are lucky in the fact that all the leadership fall within our banner, getting everybody onto the same page and in support of the movement is a lot quicker from that approval process. We're really mindful that we wanted to do this once and do it properly. So we took a lot of time to research what was going to be most suitable, that's going to withstand the elements of where our remote mine sites are based, at the same time the washing conditions, the water conditions, and to ensure the cost but also the durability balance was effective, so that we knew that it would be long lasting and have the proper cost effects and obviously the sustainability effects that we were aiming for. With that, we looked into the quality of the bottles, making sure that they were insulated so that those would withstand the elements as well. Having an insulated bag where all the kit would go into as well, so it would keep everything cold and fresh for, when they're out there working long days in, the hot weather. As well as having something that would pack up really neatly and be able to be transported but also stored on site in locker facilities or storage facilities in their rooms safely, so they could come back and get it. More importantly as well was also the materials used when it came to that, to make sure that they would align with all of those initiatives. We really needed to make sure that we had the facilities available for everybody to maintain these kits themselves, and that was the washing facilities that were not only within the village area but also out at site. So ensure that we've got the hot potable water and suitable facilities, as well as the wash-up liquids and the brushes and necessary items needed to wash them and maintain them. So there was a little bit of work in the background that ensured that we ticked all of those boxes to have those available for when we rolled them out. The time that we had the kit produced and we were happy with it, we looked at a 4-week period in which we rolled it out. We have pushed that period out slightly, purely to make sure that from a logistics perspective, we have got opportunity to have everything covered and have the comms go out to everybody associated, but also to have the opportunity to share the news and the changes with multiple people who work different rosters. Probably about a 6-week period has been deemed to be ideal for us. Something that should always be considered is the communication to any contractors that you do have. Although, the way we are structured, we've got very few contracting companies. Every resource company has some sort of contractors that come through at some stage during the business. Ensure that you've got a system in place to consider them, or better still, make sure that you are working collaboratively with your supply and commercial teams, so that the communication for the change within the business has gone out to anybody that does come on any short-term visits. That is paramount. And then a system for new starters, ensuring that anybody who comes in new to the business has got the proud moment to receive that pack when they get the rest of their PPE as a MinRes employee, so that they can start from scratch and have everything available for them from day one. If anybody does necessarily need a replacement or anything like that, you have your supply team looped into that, so that there's a robust ordering system, and everybody is constantly covered. The other must-have was finding a supplier that would be remaining so we could have the stock on hand and constantly continue to roll this out to new starters or when they required replacements. There absolutely was changes, and that was just with regards to the initial distribution. Us as a department, Village Operations Department, took responsibility for the distribution initially. However, the biggest learning for us was to bring the leaders from the other departments along on the journey and have them involved in the distribution to their people, because they know their people and they know their numbers, and we can track collaboratively how it's been handed out to them far better.